I am very thankful for the resurgence of the veteran quarterbacks. It's not going to be sexy for them to be like Matthew Stafford is the MVP of the NFL, but I personally think he's been the MVP. What's up, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving from us here at Why is Draymond Green talking about football with Jordan Schultz and our sponsors over at Fanatic Sportsbook. Hope everyone is somewhere cozy, enjoying a friendly fight over football. I'm NBA champion Draymond Green, joined as always by NFL insider Jordan Schultz, who is battling for his life. His voice is going like it,
My
but
voice
he's ready
sounds
to go. So,
horrendous.
we also have a very exciting interview today with Denver Broncos linebacker Nick Benito joining us later on. But first, in the spirit of the holiday, we wanted to talk about what we're most thankful for as NFL fans this season. Jordan, what are you thankful for? Let them hear your voice.
Well, Trey, my voice is all
No,
up
you
and
don't need
down.
to do that. You don't need
I
to
won't
do
do
that.
that. I am really thankful. I actually think the football is too good this year. I like, you're used to like one good Thanksgiving game and then two not so good games. You can take your eyes off the TV. This year, I feel like all three you got to lock in for, bro. And then we got a big one on Friday. So I'm very thankful for the football.
I must say, as a guy who is getting a little older in my field as year by year, I am very thankful for the resurgence of the veteran quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford should be the MVP of the NFL. Let's just face it. I don't know, like it's not going to be sexy for them to be like Matthew Stafford is the MVP of the NFL, but I personally think he's been the MVP, and I would love to see if he gets his. But I'm very thankful. Jared Goff's been playing extremely well. So
Darnold,
just see, Sam Darnold has been playing well. Baker Mayfield got off to a hot start. So just see guys who's been doing it for Patty Mahomes is playing like Patty Mahomes again. So just seeing guys and Patty ain't that old. I don't even think Patty's 30 yet, or just 30, right? So, but the guys like Stafford, I'm very thankful to see guys still at it in their elder years.
that's a very good segue into, I think, two potentially epic records that could be broken. One is Myles Garrett. He's 5 sacks away to break the single season record, 22 and a half. And then JSN has over 1,300 receiving yards. He basically needs to average 108 per game to break Calvin Johnson's. What would be the more impressive record? And then secondly, do you think either or both break the record?
So I think for me personally, I would say the sack record. I think number one, Myles Garrett has been at it for a while, and this isn't like some newcomer, who's like we've all known who Myles Garrett is. Every defense is built to stop Myles Garrett, and he's still doing this, and not with a lot of greatness around him, he's still doing this. So I personally would say the sack record. And saying that, what JSN is doing, I think, is incredible. But for instance, even like to my point of Myles Garrett, it's a little more fresh. Like teams are still figuring him out, whereas teams should have, I put air quotes, teams should have had Myles figured out by now. But what he's doing is impressive. And when it comes down to both of them breaking, I think both of them do break the record. I think Myles Garrett is going to break the record. I think JSN breaks Calvin Johnson's record. But I think the one that no question is happening is Myles Garrett is for sure happening. And it may happen in the next 2 weeks. Also, in the spirit of being thankful, extremely thankful to have a chance to speak to this next guest, DPOY candidate Nick Benito next. You don't want to miss that. But first, a word from our friends at Fanatics.
Other sports books just don't hit right, but exclusive Thanksgiving and Black Friday rewards make switching to Fanatic Sportsbook easy. Football fans, listen up. Tomorrow, get 2 same-game parlay, 50% profit boost tokens, and a 25% anytime touchdown score profit boost to use on any of the 3 pro footbal games. Keep the winning streak going on Black Friday with a 50% college football profit boost and 3 25% same game parlay profit boost tokens to use across the NBA slate. Plus, join Fanatics and enter the Black Friday Fan Cash Drop for free. It's your weekly chance to earn up to $10,000 in fan cash. Fanatic Sportsbook, winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, 800-327-5050. New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatic Sportsbook app. Want to welcome in a special guest. Sorry, I am sick as a dog.
Jesus
Dre.
Christ.
Yeah, I am sick. I am super sick. Why don't you do the intro, Dre?
Oh, man. All right. You want me to do it for real?
I got it. We got all-pro linebacker Nick Benito, good friend of Draymond and mine, and we're very excited to have him on the show today. Nick, you are having an unbelievable season. But before we even get into that, before the season, you signed a massive extension. What did that do for you, knowing that you could relax and, yes, I took care of myself and my family?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious, awesome, obviously, being able to get that done before the season and kind of, taking that pressure off as far as just like contract talks and stuff like that. But it also was motivating at the same time because, I still feel like I have a long way to go as a player and there's so much more for me out there. So, it was both, honestly honoring and, humbling at the same time. So, it was definitely great for sure.
Great answer.
You said it right the first time. It was pretty obvious they was gonna owe you that money. well deserved. I think for me, like when I first came into the league, my first couple years, I wasn't expected, to be a starter in this league, let alone become an all-star or, any of the things that I've done in the league. And I feel like when I look at your career, first couple years wasn't really expected to now become who you've become. And with that, you see a lot of changes. And I wanted to know what's the biggest thing you've seen change for you, and from the first couple of years to obviously the money is what it is, but is that the way people around the building treat you? Is that scouting reports? Like there's a bunch of different things that come with that. What would you say is the biggest change been for you in those first couple of years? And then the player that you've become and the importance and significance of your role in the organization and in the league?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just my first, couple years, it was just me more about, learning and being able to get down the NFL game. I feel like it's completely different from how college is. And, it kind of took me a while to get around that curb and just, kind of watching the older guys in front of me, seeing what they do, how they prepare, kind of honestly helped me in a way to where, I can become a pro, whether it's, on the field or off the field. And just as far as just like game plan stuff, it's definitely different for sure. Obviously the first couple years, they just, just a guy, going out there, not really game planning for me. And I'm still making plays, but I mean, it's not really something where like people are expecting it. And now it's like, all right, I got a little bit of a name now, people, bringing more attention. So, I mean, it's, kind of grown gradually throughout the years and, I love it, honestly. So.
Nick, did you feel like coming in that you were going to be this dominant of a player? Like, did you really, or when did it hit you that I could be this dominant of a player, like one of the premier pass rushers in football?
Nah, most def. I feel like I always kind of had that confidence in myself. Even going back to draft night, just seeing how many people was, getting picked ahead of me and stuff, and nothing against them, but just knowing the ability I have and knowing the impact that I can have, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. So I always had to carry that chip on my shoulder, throughout my years and just continuously trying to get better. And eventually I knew when it came to getting my opportunity. I knew what I was gonna do, and I'm just trying to take advantage of that every way I can. So,
Draymond, does that sound familiar to you?
1,000%. 1,000%. I definitely, understand that. Like that the journey when you start and it's unexpected, and then you start to climb up and the respect and how it changes against the other guys, like I think that's you feel that more than anything. Like when you get the respect from your peers and you start off and you're like, oh man, they looking at you as just another guy. And then you show up at the line and you're like, no, I'm Nick now. Like I'm actually the guy now. That respect, it does more for you than anything, in my opinion. Because it's just like that sense of like I belong, like I always believed I belong, but now you guys feel like I belong. And
Mm,
and what that does from a confidence standpoint, I think is huge.
1000%.
As a professional athlete, is there anything better than when your peers give you props?
Nah, man, it'd be kind of crazy, especially like, coming from the top guys in the league. I'm like, damn, like I might actually, be really good for real. So, I mean, just hearing it from like guys that, you kind of looked up to and are the, best in the game, it really does mean a lot, especially coming from those type of guys for sure.
One of my very close friends, Benny Fowler, won the last Super Bowl in Denver. And when I look at that team, obviously Benny was a wide receiver, and albeit it was the legend Peyton Manning, the great Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, a great offense. But I think that team was anchored by the defense. Like I think, when I look at those teams, like Von Miller controlled the entire game from the defensive end position, which is why he was Super Bowl MVP. When I look at you guys' team, obviously Sean Payton, who's known as an offensive mastermind, offense is doing their thing. But when I look at you guys' team, it looks to me like that old Broncos team again in 2016 that's anchored by the defense. What is your mindset as a defense and going into these games, knowing that ultimately it really fall on our shoulders whether we win or lose?
Yeah, I mean, and even if, I feel like our offense was scored in, 50 points a game, I feel like our defense will still have the mentality where like every time we step on the field, we want to get stops. No matter what the situation is, you can line it up at, our their own 1 yard line and they got just 1 yard to go in. I feel like we have the mentality where they're not gonna get in, they're gonna have to earn every point, every yard. So, we definitely got that type of mentality where we want to get stops no matter what, and we want to make it easier for the offense every time. So
Speaking of mentality, and you say 1 yard, I must ask this question because it's been such a hot topic. What are your thoughts on the tush push? As the guy that you are, the defender that you are, what are your thoughts on the tush push overall?
Personally, I don't have a problem with it. I can see why people get upset with it, with people leaving early off the line of scrimmage and stuff. But one of my teammates, Jonathan Cooper, kind of said it best. If you don't even get them to a position to where they can run it, then I mean, there's nothing to even talk about. So I mean, obviously, Philly's big for it, and I don't think they ran it once against us, honestly. But yeah, if you get them to a position where they don't even get to run it, it shouldn't even be no big deal. So, I mean, I think defenses just gotta do better, honestly.
I
Well
respect that.
said.
I can
Yeah.
respect that. I'll be honest. It bothers me when I see defensive guys like, yo, they need to get rid of the tush push. Like it bothers me because at the end of the day, as a defender, it's like, no, I just got to go stop it. It is what it is.
That's it.
I have the opportunity to go stop it. So I'm very grateful to hear you say that because I get a little upset when I hear defensive guys say, no, they need to take that out the rules. Like, no.
Nah, it was deaf.
Having played with both Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray, what do you remember about those times and how that like how do you look back on that?
Yeah, man, and both of them are, I feel like, two completely different guys. Kyler is a guy that can lead with his, his play on the field and things of that nature. And he was obviously a great leader when he was at Oklahoma as well. But I feel like the way he played kind of speak volumes and ignited, a lot of the team to, bring their game to a higher level. And I feel like with Jay Hurts, it's a different type of leadership. Obviously, he's a very vocal guy. He leads in that type of way where he speaks and people listen for sure, and they gonna follow. So I mean, those are two great quarterbacks that I played with, and I was grateful because I got to learn from both of them and seeing just how they prepare, how they work, and I was grateful definitely to have both of them as my QB for sure.
What is it about Jalen that guys want to follow him? What's the quality that he possesses as a leader?
It's really not like a certain he just got like a presence about him, bro, that just makes everybody just wanna listen and follow him, bro, and then on top of that, he's always doing the right things, he's always, preparing the right way. You never hear about him getting in trouble. He's always gonna prepare like a pro, on and off the field, and just always gonna handle his business. So, I mean, that was definitely a guy, when I seen him get drafted and just seeing the way he prepared and stuff like that, he gave me the blueprint, honestly, and, I just try to look at it that way and just try to do what he was doing and try to get to the level that I wanted to go.
You and Jonathan Cooper are one of the most elite pass rushing duos in football. In basketball, you may have a great shooting guard, a great point guard, and they complement each other a little differently. Like one of them could be, if I look at Steph and Clay, right? Like Steph is he's shooting the ball as good as anybody we've ever seen, but he's the guy in the pick and rolls, breaking down the defense. Clay's not doing that as much, right? Like there's kind of a yin and a yang. What makes a great pass rushing duo? Like, is it something that like, man, I cover his bases on. I do better at this thing, he does better at this thing, and we complement each other that way? Or is it just a matter of like, yo, we both can get to the quarterback?
Yeah, no, I kind of like the comparison you made with Steph and Clay because obviously both are great shooters, but they do it in such different ways. And I feel like that's kind of the same with me and Coop, as far as just rushing the passer. Both of us can really rush the passer, but both of us do it in different ways to where, he's more of a power guy and he's able to, collapse the pocket, get sacks that way. And me, I'm more of a speed guy where I can use finesse to go around you, underneath you, and things like that. And we kind of just help each other a lot in that sense too. Because as he's powering, I may rush high, I may go
Mm.
get a sack, or I'm rushing high, he steps up, Coop comes underneath with the power and gets a sack. So I mean, just in that way, and I definitely kind of see the similarities with Steph and Clay for sure. But that's kind of how I compare it.
Nick, when you see the type of season that Myles Garrett's having, what comes to mind?
He's different, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, pal. I try to go
He's
get that.
different.
Yeah, bro. I mean, guys, we talk about, being number one in the sack race, man. I think it's over with and done. At this point, it's just about him trying to break the record and everybody going for second place, in my opinion.
Wow.
Uh,
He different.
Nah,
He
he different,
different.
bro.
Unbelievable,
It's
man.
nobody like him. Nobody like him in the league.
That's impressive. So who would you say is your top 5 pass rushers?
Yeah, no order. Just my top five. I'll probably go Myles Garrett in there for sure. Brian Burns, Will Anderson,
Yeah.
Daniil Hunter, and then dang, that's tough for the last one. There's so many good rushers in the league, bro. I don't even know on the last one. I'll probably just put myself in there for right now. But there's so many good rushers in the league.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
like
respect that. There's
I
always a
can
spot
respect
for
it too,
self.
but it's like, oh, Bosa, Watt, Parsons,
Oh,
Crosby,
I'm
like,
tripping. Micah.
okay, all right,
A
all
thousand
right,
percent. I don't know how I missed that. Micah.
all right. So Micah's 5. Okay, or Micah's in your top 5.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. He's in the
Yeah,
top five for
yeah.
sure.
Man, when you start naming off them names, though, god damn. It's a
It's
lot
like,
of
oh
great
wait,
pass
Yeah, a
him,
lot,
rushers.
bro.
him.
It's so many good rushers in this league, bro, and there's like so many underrated ones too, man. It's really is crazy for sure.
Who are one of the two of the underrated ones that you really like, but maybe aren't national names just yet?
Yeah, the one that automatically comes to my mind is Will McDonald. I feel like he's one of the better rushers in the league that don't get
The
talked about.
Jets.
Yeah, maybe because the Jets not winning enough and stuff like that. But I mean, if you actually go look at the tape, he's one of the better rushers for sure. And I'll probably put honestly Jonathan Cooper in there too, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he's kind of underrated in a sense, to where we know about him and stuff, but the national media don't give him enough, credit as much as he deserves. So I'll probably go them too.
Can respect that. And then switching gears a little bit, obviously it's Thanksgiving time. I think this is very fitting at that time. You do a lot of great work in your community. Can you tell us about the work with the Bonitto Family Foundation?
Yeah, so we just had did a Thanksgiving turkey drive not too long ago, probably about 2 weeks ago. And then coming up for this Christmas, we're gonna have like a toy drive. I don't know where the store that's gonna be happening at, but we're gonna get that done and just invite some kids to go shopping. I'll take care of everything for them, and it's gonna be a really cool event for sure.
When you see the way kids react to you, Nick, does it remind you of how you were a kid and when you see maybe a professional athlete? How does that feel?
Nah, most definitely. Just seeing just the reaction of me coming in and not even just like the stuff that I'm doing, but just my presence being there just kind of makes their day. So it's definitely
Yeah.
dope seeing that. I remember my days back in Florida, just being fanning over, all the Heat players whenever I got to go to the games and seeing them and stuff like that. So it was always cool. And it's kind of just a surreal feeling now that I'm in that position kind of so.
Man, and I would say lastly, like what are we expecting from y'all down the stretch? Is it Super Bowl? Is it what we expecting down the
Super
stretch
Bowl
for the
or bust?
Broncos?
Nah, I mean, we definitely obviously we've came in with goals to go to the Super Bowl. I feel like that's no shocker to anybody. I feel like my coach has been vocal about it, the players. So that's definitely the goal. But I mean, the main thing is just finishing the stretch off strong. Trying to get that 1 seed to heading into the playoffs and just kind of making sure that we're playing our best ball right now going into the postseason for sure.
I got two more quick ones. I'll get you out of here, Nick. What's something about Sean Payton that maybe the average like football fan wouldn't necessarily know? Like, is he funny? Does he tell jokes?
Yeah, I mean, you've been around him some, but it's like people on social media always make him seem like this old man, hard ass guy. Like, don't get me wrong, he definitely got his moments, but for the most part, he cool, bro. Like, he be trying to just joke with everybody, make all them dad jokes and stuff. So, I definitely feel like social media kind of paints the picture a little bit wrong with him, but he a
Yes.
cool dude.
That's funny.
How would you describe Sean Payton's trip?
And I feel like he done got me about this because I done talked about his drip a couple times already, but he gets like all the Jordan so like he think
He
he be
does
just putting
get
it on.
yeah.
Yeah, bro, and like he be think he putting it on. He be bringing in the new J's, trying to show everybody his shit. I'm like, bro, he don't even know how to put it on right together. But I just let him be him at this point now.
That's like DG. He's so old.
Look
You
at
know,
it.
he's
He looking
Nah,
for it. Look at it. He looking for it. He was
nah,
looking
that's what
for it.
I'm
You
saying, bro. Nah,
sound
you still got him here, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I appreciate you, my
How
dog. He always, hey, go eat some lemons with your up voice.
yeah, in my voice. Wait, one more. Nick, what led to the number change 42 to 15?
Yeah, so originally I wanted 11. That was my college number, but it was already took by somebody else, one of the older guys on the team. So I just went kind of back to high school days with 15, and once I saw that was available, I kind of snagged it and went from there.
I like it. All right, I'll get you out of here on this. With the success you've had this year, last year, how have you noticed teams game planning for you differently to your point earlier? Like, yeah, now I'm the guy.
Nah, most definitely. And, I'm still trying to get adjusted to it as far as just like handling chips, double teams from, just guards or, running back chips and tight end chips. So, I mean, there's definitely different types of game plans for sure. And, a lot of the times they'll even just try to run away or just to get me out of the game and, not make me get involved and get hot and stuff like that. So, it's definitely been different. And, I'm still learning in this league. I try to watch a lot of the top guys and just see how they're handling that stuff. So I know I'll adjust for sure. And I feel like that's the next part of my game that I'm trying to unlock for sure.
So it's a compliment, but it's also an adjustment, and therefore staying in it mentally. If maybe you don't have as many chances to rush, that's a new skill.
1000%. Just finding ways to still be effective in the game, and that's the most important thing for me.
That's dope.
Respect that. Respect that, brother. Man,
Well,
appreciate
let's get
you,
him out
bro.
of here.
It's great having this conversation. I think even for me, just even hearing how you compare, to a different type of duo, but how y'all work together, like that's fascinating to me. Because if you just watching, like, yeah, you see a guy, he may go this gap, you may go underneath, but just in understanding the different philosophies and getting home and how they play a part of each other, that's big time for me. I appreciate it, brother, and thank you for coming on the show.
Nah, most definitely. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
Yes,
you,
sir.
Nick. Keep balling. Sorry about my voice. Happy Thanksgiving, bro.
Happy Thanksgiving, right?
Thanks again to our phenomenal guest, Nick Benito. Now, as always, it's time for our picks and parlays presented by Fanatic Sportsbook. First up, we have our three-leg parlay for Friday afternoon showdown between the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles. All lines from Fanatics are up to date as of this recording, Tuesday, November 25th. So this is what I'm thinking this week. I'm thinking we take Caleb Williams 200 plus. We really need to win one of these things, man. I think Caleb's
We
been
have
playing
to.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Johnson is kind of unlocking him. So I like Caleb 200 plus. Are you feeling that one? You're a big Caleb guy. You got to be happy that I'm rolling with Caleb this week. You're a big Caleb guy.
I'm surprised. I am surprised, but I like it. And I think this could be potentially not a shootout, but there's going to be some offense in this. I would love to see both these quarterbacks play great. Two really good NFC teams. I think the more interesting one is who's he throwing to. I like Colston Loveland, 3+ catches, has been coming on the last month or so, the rookie tight end out of Michigan. And I know there's a receiver you like in this game as well.
Absolutely. I like Colston Loveland. As you know, I'm not too fond of picking Michigan.
That's why
guys. They always seem to screw you at the end. Nonetheless, I think, with a pass rush, Jalen Carter knows the guys trying to get at the quarterback. I think Caleb's going to need to get off the ball fast, and who better than your large target tight end to get off the ball fast. So I do expect him to get 3+ receptions. So I'm rolling with that one. And I like Devontae Smith. I think the Bears have been pretty good defensively, but I also think it hasn't been against great offenses. And I like where we're headed with this one. Jalen Hurts coming out, sending the message. Devontae Smith taking the top off the defense. Also getting some passes underneath. So I really like Devontae Smith at 60+ receiving yards.
Yeah, I like that. And we also had considered A.J. Brown, who comes off a big game against Dallas, had a big first half. I'd love to see him continue to get more touches, but I like Devontae Smith.
So to summarize our 3-leg parlay for this week, we are going to go Caleb Williams, 200+ yards passing. We are going to go Colston Loveland, 3+ receptions, and we are going to go Devontae Smith, 60+ receiving yards. Be sure to check out our parlay in the Fanatic Sportsbook app and ride along with us on Friday. Let's win one. Now it is time for our head-to-head pick'em, where each week we pick the hottest games against the spread. And unfortunately, after week 12, we are still tied up. I am 22, 24, and 1, 2, and 1 on the last week. And ironically, because Jordan copies my picks, he had the same record. So I didn't get an opportunity to break free this week or last week. However, this week, here's where
you're going to get me.
Breakaway. So our games this week are Green Bay at Detroit, with Detroit being a -2.5-point favorite. I am going to go with Detroit. Green Bay has been very Jekyll and Hyde, and I think Detroit, it's a division game, and they need to win this one. 2.5 I like, so I'm taking Detroit. Who you rolling with?
Jordan Love on the road, Packers.
And here's where I take over. Chicago at Philly. Philly is a 7-point favorite. I per 7 points is a lot, and Chicago been tricky down the stretch. However, I think Chicago has been winning games, like just pulling them out at the end. Philly, they know it's time, and I think I also know as a defending champion, when you play against a team where you're like, oh, they may be on the way, you want to send a message, and I think they're gonna send that message to Chicago. I'll take Philly, 7-point favorite.
I got the Bears.
Of course you do.
Too many points. That's a backdoor cover if I've ever seen it.
I love it. That's an easy win for me. We got Houston at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a 4.5-point favorite. Houston's been trying to figure it out, and Indianapolis kind of been a little shaky lately. Nonetheless, I'm taking Indy, 4.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I like the Colts, although this is a huge game for both of these teams. Houston has been red hot, number 1 defense in football right now. The Colts, I was at that game last weekend. They had a real chance to win it against KC. I like a bounce back. Give me Indy.
You make me want to change my answer so bad and flip it over to Houston, but I already made my choice. I'll stay there. And last game of the week, we got Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Buffalo -3.5. My Steelers have been shaky.
This is a weird
a little
line.
Rough.
Yeah.
But Buffalo's been reeling, and I think we need a bounce-back game to shock the world. I'm rolling with my Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I like
+3.5.
Yeah, I like getting a nice number at home. But Buffalo was embarrassed. Josh Allen was sacked 8 times against the Texans. 8 times. I feel like this is a bounce back. I'm going to take the Bills. I don't feel great about it.
So when I go 4-0 this week, y'all, I'll be 26-24-1, and Jordan will be 1-3. So he will be 23-27-1. That is how this is going to wrap up. We will track these picks every week, powered by Fanatic Sportsbook. You can follow along and put your own futures in the Fanatics app. Subscribe right now on YouTube. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and download Fanatic Sportsbook so you can make your picks along with us. That's a wrap on this week's episode. Thanks again to our guest this week, Nick Benito. And once again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Be thankful. Say a prayer for my man Jordan. He is down bad over here. And I really want you to have a good Thanksgiving, brother. So use your natural remedies. Or your
I'm hosting the
medicines that you
entire
got.
Schultz family. I gotta come through.
Don't be trying to get my guy Howard sick. Get yourself together, man.
He'd be already about it. You get me sick, you're finished.
Yeah, no, don't be getting my guy sick. Pull yourself together. Everyone else, enjoy your weekend of family and football. Till next time, we love y'all. Peace.